G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 30 of my Piercing Blademaster playthrough with Stabatha. As you can see, I'm level 99 now. I've got a little bit to go. I figured I should record a video to celebrate level 100. And I've been working hard on all of my reputations. I've got the Mammoth Resistance to Revered. I think I had this before. Death's Vigil, I definitely saw hit Revered since I stopped recording. Same with the Devil's Crossing up here. I've been working on the 3 different witch cults and also on Barrowhome. So I've basically been doing, well, this run, which is killing a couple of heroes and then leaving. Occasionally I'll get a totem for a little bit of loot, potentially, but I'm mostly here for witch cult reputation. Generally speaking, when I hit 100, the first thing I want to do is get all of my reputations to Revered, so as I have access to all of the augments, because you never know, you'll find some really cool items, but you can't use them because it drops your bleeding resistance down to 60%, and that's a really good way to end up dead in Ultimate, so you just kind of can't use it. So primary objective, I guess, is get all of the reputation, and the easiest way I've found to get witch cult reputation is right here. All these little wormy things, everything you kill here, it's all worth reputation. And any heroes you kill, the totem, if it's here, it's all gravy, baby. So I'm still a decent way off of Revered with the witch cults. I am definitely going to hit level 100, or die. That could definitely happen. I'm going to hit level 100 or die well before I get Revered with everyone, and that's pretty standard. I'm not super worried about that. These guys here, these 3, are the definitely the best target, in my opinion, for getting witch cult reputation as fast as you can. Blade Dancer's Handguards, I think I've had about 4 of these now. So I'm just going to look at the stats on this and decide, yes, it's better, no, it's not. These ones I'm going to say are better, so I'll go ahead and chuck those on. I am done here, so I can go back to Devil's Crossing and just do the thing where I take the component off and chuck it on here. Now, I'm not using a huge amount, I guess, of augments, which means I actually want to do this as well. Keep that add-on. The reason I did that was a triple rare, and it gave me a lot of resistances, and swapping it has actually uncapped my Aether res, but upon realizing that I have empty resistance slots in my armor, I'm just going to come up here to the Black Legion and buy a Mankind's Vigil. So, you know what? I'll grab 2. I definitely know there's not one there. That's already got one. Shoulder needs one. There we go. Everything's nicely capped. And I just picked up a bunch of armor on my shoulders. So now my feet are the biggest hole that I have in resistances, and I wouldn't mind getting a higher level girdle as well. However, like I said, getting my reputations up to Revered is my main goal here. So I'm checking for Chaos Totems. This one, you do sometimes have to get a little bit closer before it'll tell you it's there. I think around about now is probably close enough to say it's not. And so once you know where that one can spawn, I know that it is either here or it is down here. We'll go get this one first. I have a feeling it's going to be behind the waterfall, which means I'm going to be skipping it because honestly, I kind of hate running to behind the waterfalls. It's a very long run. It's just a regular totem. It's not a Forsaken or an Ancient. So it's really not worth the run, in my opinion. It's quicker and more effective to just reset and go again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to skip that one. Actually, can I see it? I can't see it from here. Alright, so I'm targeting Chthonians because I want reputation with Barrowhome. This is going to be level 100, so there we go. That's level 100. Congratulations to me, and also to anyone who was playing along. I realize at this point you probably already hit level 100, because it has been a little while since I really played this character. But if you were playing along and you did get to level 100, then congratulations. Job well done. And yeah, next steps. So I want the other Chthonian, what you call it, totem out here. And I am just literally going to run totems until I have all of the Belgothian set. I've been around and I've collected all of the quest-based attribute and skill points that are available to me, except for I have not done the Shattered Realm ones. I generally prefer to just do those on the main account because I really do not enjoy Shattered Realm. So what I usually do is I'll just craft a waystone that'll get me to the level where I get all three of them, which used to be 50, so now it should be 20, I think, if my maths is mathsing. So Shattered Realm 20 on Ultimate. Actually, I don't even think you need Ultimate. But Shattered Realm 20. And I'll just go run that one level, get my 3 points, and then get out of Shattered Realm. Because I really do not like it. I will also usually at least complete the main set that I'm going to be using. So I want the Belgothian set probably before I go do the Shattered Realm. And I want to have a good build kind of nailed down by then as well. So there will be one pretty massive change to the devotions. I'm waiting on a particular pair of gloves to drop. They haven't dropped yet, obviously. But I think it's Unchained, Gloves of Unchained Might or something like that. I forget the exact name of it. But they will give you your flat, non-stacking, resistant shredding on the actual glove. And so we can lose the Revenant and get a few more nice devotions instead. That is going to take a little while though. And I will make at the very least, I'll make a quick video sort of going over the final build when I've sort of finalized it. But I'll probably make a full guide for it, similar to what I did for the Polarized Dagalon build. Which, incidentally, I really enjoyed, and for some reason, I kind of want to play a pistol build again. I don't know why, because it's horrible. Leveling pistol builds is just awful. But I kind of feel like I want to play one again, so we'll see what happens. Still looking for pants as well. So, you know, if I could find some pants, that'd be great. The Belgothian set, I haven't had a single piece of it drop yet, which is disappointing, but not particularly surprising. There we go. I saw this guy from when I was standing in one of those buildings, so I figured I'd pay him a beating. And since I'm here, Zarya may as well die as well. So Zarya the Carver, will I even see her crystals before she dies? Nope. Definitely not. Okay, I don't want any of that blue stuff. I do pick up some of the blue things. I don't really know why. It's just something I do, I guess. I am skipping actually a decent amount of totems. Like, I haven't done the glue mold for a little while, and if you've been on the channel for more than about 20 seconds, you're going to know how much I love the glue mold. It is, in my opinion at least, it is the most efficient area in the game to farm totems and treasure troves. Just in terms of how many you get and how quickly. And there's also all of the heroes and such that are just hanging out in those areas as well. So you can pick up reputation and loot, especially loot, quite quickly. But I'm trying to get the reputations, so I have indeed been just targeting whatever totems I need. I killed Crumley a fair few times. I picked up a few of his rings as well, but I don't think I'm going to end up using any of them. Blood Rages and the Guardian of Death Gates. None of those are what I want. The other thing I have been doing as well is, as much as I hate it, the Twin Falls totem is an undead totem, so I can do that one. Get some spirit totem action. Where are we looking? It's over here. This is generally one I skip as well. If I didn't need the Rover's reputation, I would absolutely not be doing Twin Falls. just because it's a decently long run for, I mean, not a very good totem. Forsaken, I guess, is alright. Generally speaking, though, I don't usually want to bother with undead stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with killing these. The totem itself is not bad. It's more the time it takes to get here combined with usually I don't need reputation. Where's the priest? Where is it? Are you the healer? There is definitely a healer in the area. There we go. You know what? It might have been this guy. Alright, did we get anything good? No, we did not. I am checking belts. I'm not really expecting to find a good belt, but I mean, maybe. Cadence bonus things are relatively common. I did find an amulet that converts cadence over to cold, which was temporarily interesting. I would have to change the entire build to do it, but you know, it could be interesting. This is the other one that I really like doing. It's an ancient totem, so you're usually going to get some good stuff in it. Unfortunately, the reputation for this one I don't really need, but I do need a new pair of shoulders, or at least a better pair of shoulders. So I don't mind going this way to kill off all of the Flesh Warp commanders and such, because the more of them I can kill, the better the chances of getting a nice new pair of shoulders. I've had a few drop, no triple res since the last one, but you know, maybe. I've also had a few. I had the Blight Lord's hood recipe drop. I've now had the the Blood Knight's Visage recipe drop. So getting a few recipes out of this is pretty good. The other thing as well is if you run through Gloommold, and this might take me a little while to show, and it might not actually happen, but if you run through here, you can get Kubakabra spawn, and getting Kuba to spawn is a really good way to get blueprints, because the Nemesis Trove, I'm not going to say it always drops a blueprint, but I'll say it often drops a blueprint. And I have found they're really good for getting the rarer blueprints. If you look on grimtools.com/checklist, you can upload all of the blueprints you have on your save file, and it'll tell you which ones you're missing. It'll tell you where to get them if they have a, I guess, deterministic place where they can drop. And if they are in the, I think it's just rare. No, they split them into the similar sort of category. So it's legendary ones that you can get from fairly deep Shattered Realm, or you can get it from, I think, Act bosses as well, but Nemesis Troves are another place where they can drop. I know you have to go relatively deep into Shattered Realm to start getting the legendary blueprints. It's not just random, or if it is, I was very, very, very unlucky. When I actually did that big grind for my first account, for my first level 100 hardcore character, I was grinding through Act bosses, so I was doing Warden Krieg, I was doing Cronley. I didn't yet know about the, well, I don't want to call it the glory of the Gloommold, but I didn't know that the Gloommold was a good place to farm at that point. So I was just doing Krieg and a few other things over and over again. Death Guard's pretty good. See, this is another one that I kind of want to make a build for. Every time I find a new set, I'm like, I haven't made a build with that. I really want to. Anyway, yeah, Nemesis Trove is a really good place to find blueprints if you're still looking for the legendary ones, because legendary ones are not going to drop from just some random hero. You need to do harder content for it, and at least that's my understanding based on the fact that when I did upload my recipes on that Death Knight the very first time when I was grinding through this, I had one legendary recipe and pretty much every other recipe that was possible to have. So that tells me that they don't drop from the stuff I was doing. But everything else will drop from the Act bosses and stuff like that. Because I was running Cronley, I was running the Warden, And I was scared of Nemesis because obviously it's my first. It was actually my first ever level 100 character, and I did it on hardcore. So I was terrified. I would literally just log out when any of the Nemesis would show up. I would nope right out of there. A lot of the time I wouldn't even try and run away. I would just hit escape and exit the menu. Because for me, I'd never killed any of them. I'd never fought any of the Nemesis before. And they just seemed really, really scary. So I wasn't killing them. So I didn't know that, hey, actually, the loot from these guys is really, really good. And I've never liked Shattered Realm, and I didn't really do Crucible back then either, which, I mean, to be fair, I don't really enjoy the Crucible either. Maybe I'm just picky. But yeah, Nemesis Troves are a really good way to get blueprints out of the Legendary category. And I definitely recommend killing the Nemesis as soon as you can. Now, the Beast Nemesis, Kubakabra, that's what I'm looking for here. That's what I'm here for. And that's what I'm going to kill. It's just a matter of getting him to spawn. Now, the best way I've found to get Kuba to spawn, well, the best way is to just run through the Ancient Grove. But that's not going to get you the same sort of loot that a Gloomwald run will. And then there's an Ancient Savage Totem in the Pine Barrens. So what I like to do is I'll do this Gloomwald run, and occasionally Kuba will spawn. It's fairly common for him to not, but sometimes he will. So if he spawns, I'll kill him. And, oh, there he is. And I was going to say, if he doesn't, I'll go do the Ancient Totem in the Pine Barrens, which I'll probably go do anyway. Actually, I don't need to. He's already here. Let's just kill him. And by kill him, I mean I'm going to kill his friends first, because I do not want Kuba getting heals. He's already going to be getting some from standing in that rubbish. See his health bar kind of bouncing all over the place, which is not ideal. This is not a very good way of showing this fight, but I don't want to spin the camera. I'm busy not dying. So you'll have to forgive me for not showing this very well. Alright, and I'll just use a healing potion just to make sure I don't die. Okay, so you get these Nemesis Troves, you get this massive blue pillar of light. Let's pop it open and then just kind of run away a little bit. Usually you will get one or two legendaries and maybe a blueprint. So I haven't got a blueprint, which is unfortunate, but I've got two purples here. Damnation, Vitality, Axe, one-handed. What do we got here? Occultist skills, Oathkeeper skills. I mean, this has got skills for everything. Plus to Doombolt. Okay, Vitality, Doombolt. Reaping Strike, Righteous Fervor. Yeah, it's kind of an everything Vitality Axe. And then, I mean, Octavius is Force Wave from what I've used it for. It's got bonuses to Rune of Callister, like physical Rune of Callister. That could be interesting to play with. Alright, so this is another reason why I say that Gloomwald is actually not the best of the best farming location anymore. So if I said that earlier, then I misspoke. It was the best of the best farming location. Now I consider actually the Bloodgrove to be the best place to do that, because there are two Chthonian Nemesis that you can spawn there. Whereas Kuba's one and done, that's it. There's no more Beast Nemesis, at least until the next expansion. Fangs of Astrakhan, from what they were saying, is bumping the Nemesis up to 2 for every faction. What do we got here? Bleeding, Internal Trauma, okay, so dot stuff. Not interested, and Dementia is obviously what I have when I'm trying to remember things. Yeah, so Bloodgrove, you get guaranteed 2 totems, maybe 3, depending on if you skip one, where the other one spawns, all that sort of stuff. You can run up into the village, and there's a whole bunch of heroes up there. Then you can do Darkvale Gate if you want. You will get both of those Nemesis. I mean, I won't, because I don't have them active, which is why I'm still doing the Gloomworld run. But if you have Nemesis with every faction, this is definitely my preferred place to grind, as it were. Now, this character can probably do sort of low-level Shattered Realm. If that's something you want to do, you can go and do it, and you'll find a depth, a level, where you can comfortably do it without much risk of dying. And then you'll look at the number, and it'll be less than 22 or 23, because we don't have a finished build. And then I'll say, well, why are you even doing that? Because the best way to get gear with an unfinished build that can't do Shattered Realm, at least like 23, 24, somewhere around there, the best way to get gear in terms of time spent for gear gained is just totems and treasure troves. And there's a lot of different areas to do, so if you get bored with just doing, you know, just the Gloomworld, which I can understand. I have done more Gloomworld runs than probably anyone else who plays this game. I understand it gets a bit dull sometimes. But there's lots of other places you could go. Hey, there's Dementia again. I swear I just saw that, but I forget. So yeah, you want to do Gloomworld until you have the required Nemesis reputation for the Blood Grove, and then start with the Blood Grove and come here second. That is the best way I've found to get loot, and yes, I forced myself to do Shattered Realm runs on one of my characters, and it was painful. It took a long time because the build wasn't good enough yet, because I didn't have the loot. And so I found I was just spending way too much time to get, you know, 6, 7, maybe 8 legendaries. In the time it took me to do the 2 levels of Shattered Realm to get the good chests, I could definitely do at least a full run of every totem that I normally run, and it would be easy. So here's a treasure trove. Got a blue, got a couple of rare crafting ingredients. Not amazing, but I mean hardly horrible. Picked up a few heroes as well. Here's the totem. And you can just power through these guys. Now granted, you are going to get a lot more blue items out of totems than you will legendaries, but you do still get legendaries. And the blueprints as well. Rhymestone legs, probably not. I do have a couple of heroes that use those though, so it could be worth hanging on to. Do we get a hero here? Nope. Ogden Bloom, I'll take it. The other good thing about farming the Gloomworld is the Ogden Blooms. And that's something I can't really stress enough. You are going to need Ogden Blooms. You're going to need a lot of them to make the components you want for a finished build. I don't currently have a finished build ready to go to show you guys. However, there are a few available on the forums. If you are any good at all at searching, you'll be able to find them. You can also go to grimtools.com/builds, and you'll be able to search Blademaster, builds for Blademasters, using the item Belgothian Slicer, and you'll be good to go from there. It'll spit out a whole bunch of old builds, sure, but the old builds are not broken, they're just maybe a little bit out of date. So there'll be a few minor changes, there'll be some skills that are red because there's too many points in them because the items have been changed to give more skills for that skill or something like that. So you can definitely figure something out. But I will absolutely be making at the very least, like I said, a one and done sort of just quick run through where I kind of off the cuff talk about what I've done. So at the very least I'll be doing that, but I'll probably make a full build guide for it. Well, that's got to be an upgrade, surely. 2% less. That's a downgrade on Aether Resistance. Now I got to figure out if I'm okay with that. And the Life Giver Signet, obviously, is a no. This is... hang on a sec. Oh, it's a level 82 mythical. Yeah, okay. Never mind. I need the Aether Resistance, and that didn't give me any additional physical res, so I'm just going to not use it. Alright, Avril Lavigne here. Come for her latest concert. Actually, does she still do concerts? I haven't heard anything about Avril Lavigne in so long. Not that I'm a massive fan or anything, I just never hear anything about pop stars anymore. She could have died 3 years ago for all I know. I hope she didn't, obviously, but it could have happened and I just wouldn't know. Ethereal Missive, Wendigo Spirit. This is actually a pretty good amulet. I think I may have mentioned this in this series even. An amulet with 20 to 30 to all stats and all resistances is really, really nice. A few skill points on there as well. If that had +1 to all skills, that would be one of the best leveling items in the game. Assuming it's like level 80 or something. Yeah, 82. That would be really, really good. I am disappointed here, though. This is a lot of not heroes in an area where it could be like 7 different heroes. So I am definitely disappointed. This is more like it. There's 2 heroes. Astral Mantle. Okay, that's lightning stuff. Corruptor's Mask, not really interested. Ugden Blooms are definitely starting to pile up, which I approve of. I can't remember. Did I already do a totem? I think I did. I think I already did a totem, and I think I already got a treasure trove. I definitely got the treasure trove because it would be there if I hadn't. All right, let's see about getting Kuba to come out and play again. That would be ideal. Okay, yeah, I've definitely already got the totem here. So, like I was saying last time, if you don't get Kuba to spawn there, you can come down here to the Pine Barrens, and you want to kind of head towards Megara, because I am still using Megara's amulet, and so if I can get to Megara and kill her again, which, let's be honest, is not going to be hard, potentially I can get an upgrade there. So let's head that way. The other thing about being here is that the totem can spawn here or also down here. So potentially coming over this way will actually lead you to the totem. So killing Megara is always a good idea. And I don't think I'm going to dodge that. Yep, she's already dead. Blade Guard leggings, we got piercing damage, we got actually some pretty good stuff on that. Good armor, but not as good as the hulking leg guards. I do need the Aether resistance, so as much as I think these pants are better, they're going to stay on the floor. So, there we go. Ancient Savage Totem. Also, there's 4 heroes here, which is really, really nice. And I'm expecting Kuba any day now. Any second. So we just keep plowing through these guys, and he'll show up eventually. Like I said, the best way to get him is to run into the Ancient Grove, but going into the Ancient Grove does not get you... this could be a problem. It doesn't get you the loot that totems do, so I try to target totems as much as I can. And then he'll show up when he shows up. Alright, got a couple of purples there. Nadan's Reach, Bismiel's Domination, Markovian Bulwark. None of this stuff particularly amazing. The Markovian set is definitely one you could hang on to. From memory, this is a cadence set. I could be wrong about that. It might be a blitz set. I've used bits of this previously, but I've never used the whole set. I might hang on to that and just see if there's anything I can do with it. I happen to know that the bosses in this area, including Megara, are of the Beast faction. So I'm going to go ahead and kill myself a couple of bosses in this area. So the Spider Queen, or at least Ungoliant, or Ungoliax. is definitely beast stuff. Whether I kill enough stuff before I get there, we'll see. Never mind, don't need to kill him anymore. So this is what I was trying to spawn. I want Kuba. The Nemesis Trove is really, really good. What I'm going to do is spawn him, or his two little friends there. I'm going to run over here. I just want to get them out of the majority of the goop. So the goop's going to stack up on the floor. And I definitely taking a lot of extra damage here. Just trying to stay out of the bleeding pools. It's not usually that much damage. That did, in fact, trigger Prismatic Rage and probably all the other ones as well, so don't have Tortoise. It would have triggered the Ghoul. Alright, what do we get? Death Marked. Well, ain't that a kick in the teeth. Death Marked, of course, being Nightblade stuff. 5 set pieces means this is only going to have Nightblade bonuses. I think the only 5-piece set that has bonuses to more than one class is the Krieg set, or more than one mastery. So this is Nightblade only, and you can use this with any Nightblade combination. Which I guess means this is the soldier version. Yeah, that makes sense. There's only bonuses to soldier stuff here. Yep. Alright, let's check if that ancient Aetherwarp totem is there. For anyone who's still watching this at this point and kind of wondering, like, what's the point of this? This is just farming. You guys said you wanted to see this continue, and so I'm kind of showing a little bit of the farming. I don't know if I'll make any more of these farming type videos. They generally do get fairly good reception, but maybe these can be like an extra video, you know, on a day where I don't know, finish work early or something. I can make an extra video on this character. Because like I said, several people, like a lot of you guys, have been saying, I want to see more of this character. So this video is just literally me doing what I would normally be doing with a level 100 character. And I'm just waffling while I'm doing it. So if you do want to see more of these, let me know. And if no one's interested, then this could have been another video for one of the current characters as well. I just kind of felt like playing this guy for a bit. So let me know if you like this, and I'll probably do a couple more. Having said that, I know from previously when I've asked that most of you guys seem to want to see this sort of stuff. I don't know if this is just because it's not something that a lot of other people show, perhaps. So yeah, maybe you could tell me why you're interested in watching some guy just run around bashing totems. There's only one totem in the Rotting Croplands. It's always an ancient Aetherwarped, so it's just a matter of finding which of the spawning locations it's in. Alright, let's go back to reputation farming. So I'm checking down here for this totem. It's not there. Alright, so I know it's either behind the waterfall or I'm about to see it pop up. I'm going to guess it's behind the waterfall. I also don't get this one. This is going to be a pretty dry run. So I can run over this way and I'll see if it's not here or here, then I'll have to go up into Darkvale Village. Yeah, no, it's not worth it. I'm out. It's a lot of running for no totems. Granted, it would be a decent amount of reputation, but no thank you. And I like 12 of 12 there. That's definitely not the optimal place to put that skill point. I'll just tell you right up, right straight up, that's not the good place. That's not the best place to put that. Getting that skill to 12 of 12 instead of 11 of 12 is just because I like round numbers, or I like soft capping skills. It definitely should have gone somewhere else, but it also kind of doesn't matter. And it, honestly, it probably should have been squad tactics. Though having said that, I do have capped attack speed, so I don't really need that. So Blademaster having Blitz and Shadow Strike means the mobility is really good. Let's just give a bit of a shout for him. In Ashcore is the actual threat in here. These guys do hit pretty decently hard, but they're kind of a one and done thing. They get one good attack. If it hits you, it'll hurt. And if they miss, because, you know, we're dodging a bunch of melee attacks, and we've got more chance to avoid melee here. And yeah, if I happen to have one of the Nightblade pants, then I could potentially have another 8% here, and we'd just be dodging a bunch of attacks. There we go. Chance for them to miss me is 20% on top of that, so I don't get hit very often. What else are we doing? I guess we'll come up here and get this Void Touch Totem. The other thing I could do, if I'm looking for Chthonian negative rep and Barrow Home reputation, which is what I'm after here, I could go and do the Chaos Bastion, or Bastion of Chaos. That is definitely a thing I could do. I could also go and kill the Logorian, because he is decent reputation. And there's... what's the green slug's name on the way to kill him? To kill him as well. He's 112 reputation. So there is stuff on the way there that I could be doing. I'm not sure how I would go with Shazul, actually. Probably it would be alright. Probably. Probably, maybe. I'm actually not sure. Let's have a look at my reputation now. So the Cult of Soleil is going to be the last one here, but we're getting fairly close. 6,500. What are we looking at there? 3.5, 4,000. I get about 300 and maybe 400 or 500 each run. So 8 more runs through here should start getting revered, which would be great. What that basically allows you to do is that there's a lot of really good items that you can use that give amazing bonuses, but they don't really have a whole lot of resistances. So using the augments allows you to equip items with worse resistances, if that makes sense. So you're trading an augment slot for more damage, or you're trading it for maybe a healing proc or something like that. I probably should be killing this stuff too. I haven't seen this totem very often. Actually, you know what? I'm going to look up... hang on. Hold that thought. Nobody go anywhere. I'm just going to look up where the other spawns for that totem are, because it's not one that I've checked previously. So I'm on the Grimtools map. I'm going to go into the Ruins of Abid. Is it that one that's out the front? 2 objects. One's in the Ruins of Abid, one's in the no, it's not that one. So if we go into the Temple of Atef, 3 objects. So we're looking Temple of Sethan and the Temple of Ariath. Okay, I'm not running all the way over there for a totem. So 1 in 3, and I'll get that totem. But this is the money shot right here. Alright, get him and then get out. That goop on the floor will kill you. And if you happen to have just a little bit less damage than I do as well, the meteor swarm here is really, really painful. So definitely don't stand in that. I mean, obviously, but yeah, definitely don't stand in that. I could also be running around hitting up all of the other heroes here, like the cold dog, whose name I can't remember. I could go and kill Father Kaiman. He went down pretty easily. I could kill Korvac. He's not particularly scary. The Griffin Sovereign is also worth a decent amount of reputation. So I could be doing those as well. I just think this is the way to go. And it might even be worth just not doing these totems for a little while, just to smash out that reputation. Yep, he's not there. So again, it's either behind the waterfall or it is here. Okay, so I know it's not behind the waterfall now. This one, unfortunately, just doesn't want to spawn for me. I would love to go do that one, but it's not happening. so it is what it is. I should probably bring the boys out as well. I have a really bad habit of doing that. Alright, bunch of heroes here. You'll love to see it. So each one of these is going to be 52, so that's like 300 reputation, which is great. The loot is, yeah, I mean, technically it exists, but it's not very good. Let's go see. There's my other totem, beautiful. Generally speaking, I'm not too interested in running up into the Darkvale village. I kind of flip-flop on this, where sometimes I'll say, yeah, it's worth it. It's not that far. You get a totem. There's always a treasure trove up there as well. So I do flip-flop a little bit on whether I want to go into the village if it spawns in there. Today I'm saying I don't want to. It's too far to run. But tomorrow I'll be sick of this run and I'll be all about that village life. What do we got? Boots of Primordial Rage and the Mythical Storm Reaver. Okay, none of that. Alright, that's my Bloodgrove run done. I'm going to do the Astrakhan Valley one as well, why not? Where are we? Straight to the north. So we can just run straight up this road. Hitting ethereals on the way is not a bad thing as well. Like I said, I am using the Flesh Warp Shoulders because of the +3 to cadence and all the extra bonus armor and stuff, so that's pretty good as well. Alright, got a purple drop there. Love to hear that. Love to hear that sound. Got a couple of them. Unfortunately, none of them are what I want. But that's alright. We keep going. I still need tons of reputation. Farming a character from nothing to a full build can take as long as grinding from level 1 to max level. I think my second level 100 was a Physical Savagery Archon, which I did record the whole thing. It is still on YouTube, but the sound is questionable, shall we say. But that one took me about 20 hours to go from level 1 to level 100. And then about another 20 to 30 hours to get the gear together. To get most of the gear together, I should say, because it took me easily another 2 years to get the boots for that build. And the amulet actually took a while. So you've kind of got to be lucky. But once you've got the set and the majority of the other items, you're usually in the sort of good enough category. So, for example, once I get the Belgothian set, I don't really need the second weapon, or a duplicate Belgothian weapon, because I kind of have one that's good enough. It's just down to what drops, though. It's entirely possible that I'll have all the rest of the gear for this build before I get the Belgothian set. Tainted Ruby of Gardal. What do you do? You do Chaos and Elemental damage. Judgment, Inquisitor skills. Yeah, okay. No, thank you. I will take it, though. Alright. We go again. I am surprised I haven't really found much in the way of any kind of piercing items, actually, while I've been doing this. I did find the Direwolf Crest, which is decent. Unfortunately, that Direwolf Claw proc has taken me well over the 100% chance to proc a weapon pool skill, and so, yeah, it's okay, but it is reducing my chance to use all of these and these. So it's not ideal, but, you know, what is ideal? Alright, let's go. More Witch God reputation, or Witch Cult. Witch Cult, all of them. Yes, that was genius. Clap. Alright, let's get in there. There is also that totem outside here as well. I don't think I've ever done that while I've been farming this. It's kind of okay. Mostly I'm here for reputation, and if I happen to get a good drop, well, that's a bit of a bonus rather than, you know, it's not the main reason I'm here, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, we got a green stick on this guy. It's animated preserver. Plague Bearers, Corvin Eldritch Halberd of Alacrity. If I was playing a poison build, I would be pretty happy with that. Actually, I want to have a look at that. Looks like it's a dervish weapon. Righteous Fervor, Smite, Vulnerability. Okay, so we're looking at Occultist and Oathkeeper. I see that aura up there. You should have turned your aura off, mate. You would have got to live. Yeah, so Righteous Fervor, two-handed build, poison damage. I'm blanking on the name, actually. It's not Templar. Oathkeeper and Occultist. It's Sentinel. There you go. Get there in the end. Actually have one of those, a bit of a shield chucker. Okay, unlikely to get any good loot here. It's kind of fine. Here for the reputation. How are we doing on reputation? It's going up. It's going up. 5.5, 2.5. Yeah, we're getting there. Alright, let's go do some Chaos Totems. You could also be doing Act Boss runs if you wanted to. You could go do Krieg and then Crunley. Crunley has a nice ring, so there's that. Just as long as you're doing something, you're killing something. Beautiful. I'll do this one. Hopefully the other totems will be excellent. This is the best spawn. This one right here, where you get both of these right next to each other, you can knock them out and be on your way. Gilda's Guard. Dementia again. 3 of those. The Arcanum Sigil. This has got a very similar name to a pistol that I saw a couple of times before I started recording as well. Arcanum Frigilis, I think it was. Anyway, it's a cold pistol. I didn't finish this guy off, which was silly. Alright, we've got Oathbearer and the Blood Orb of Chthon. Aether Storm Seal. This, I really hope they make this one of the upgradable sets. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. But this one would also be good. In Fangs of Astrakhan, you will be able to upgrade some epic items to legendary. There are examples on the crate forums if you're interested in looking. But some of them look really cool. I wouldn't mind getting the, say, the Mage Lord rings would be a good one to upgrade in my opinion. What other blue items actually get used? The rings with resistance shredding, I actually kind of wish they would take those off. It's very hard to justify a build using damage types that have resistance shredding rings and then not using them. It's kind of hard to justify, so it does lock in your rings on a lot of builds. I mean, granted, you can just choose not to use them, but it's basically just congratulations, you did the build but made it worse sort of thing. So I wouldn't mind seeing less of that, but they are, I guess, pretty good candidates for upgrading. Let's go ahead and sell some of this stuff. I'll just leave a second on each of these if anyone's interested in seeing what they do. The Silver Bolt, if you're playing a caster or you're playing well, anything that can use this, +3 to all skills is ridiculous. What do we got? None of that. Hara's cold stuff. I'm going to hang on to the Markovian stuff. I'm not sure why. Nadan's Reach, this was another one that I was looking at and kind of going, yeah, this could be good. Mostly because 4 to Ring of Steel, 4 to Circle of Slaughter, extra area on Ring of Steel, a whole bunch piercing damage on Ring of Steel, piercing damage to field command. That's flat stuff. This actually... This is definitely a weapon I'm going to hang on to. I might end up using that. I'm getting some pretty fun ideas. I know two-handed Ring of Steel is something that I think Mad Lee was playing with that idea. Might have to go have a look at what he cooked up. Is this a pistol? No, it's Dark Blaze. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, that is far too far to run in order to get to that. Let's go kill us a couple of statues and a griffin. So this part of grinding a new character, this is the... It's not hard per se, but this is the mind-numbing part, I guess. This is the part that a lot of people don't like. I know a lot of people who, whether they do this or not, they definitely say they do this, where they just won't start a new character until they have most or all of the build already farmed. So I can kind of see that. But I prefer to do it this way. Maybe that makes me a masochist. I don't know. I just enjoy it. No totem again. I've been robbed. Alright, here we go. So we get out of the way. That's purple. What do we got? In Ashkor's head. Okay. So this is physical Albrecht's Aether Ray with a life save on it. So Battle Mage for physical physical Albrecht's Aether Ray. I don't know what this is looking like for in terms of rolls, but a lot of Aether and Ellie conversion on one item. That could be good. Who knows? The reason it's pink is because of the rainbow filter settings I have. This is a monster infrequent legendary, so they are all they're all sort of that pinky color. Same with the monster infrequent epic items. So, for example, the 3 Wendigos in the Gloomwald and throughout the rest of Act 6, they have, I think it's Tainted Gaze or something. They have their own helmets that drop, and they will be like a darker blue, kind of stick out a little bit more. Alright, do we have a totem? Computer says doesn't look like it. Alright, you got in the way. Now you get to die. Yeah, nope. Come on, give me the good spawn. Give me the good spawn. You know you want to. One here, one... Well, I want one here, I want one here, and I want one here. Let's see if I get the... It's 2 out of 3. Can I get 2 out of 3? It's 1 in 3 chance. It's not looking good. I'm pretty sure I would be able to see it by now. No, it's definitely not there. 1 out of 3. It's actually not horrible. Alright, Harbinger's Grasp. We got a couple of actual blueprints as well. Harbinger's Grasp. Are we going to use this? No, we are not. I've had a couple of the Razin items from that set as well, or from that build, I should say. The Chaos Ranged Harbinger build is another one that was kind of interesting to me. I think that's usually done as a Conjurer, which is probably my second least favorite mastery combination. Anyway, this is what I'm here for. Give me totems. There's a purple. Venom Spine Greaves and the Deathwalker's Grace. Okay, nothing too fancy there. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. How's my Barrowhome reputation, actually? Let me have a look at that. I've been killing Chaos Peoples for quite a while. Getting there. Barahome, I guess, is a little bit hard to cap, or at least slower. Don't really end up killing a whole bunch of Chthonians in the campaign. Looks like it's over here, and it just didn't show on the map for me, because sometimes the game just likes to screw you. That's fine, I'll run over here, do this totem, and then, you know what, I feel like I run through the Gloomwald. So I'm going to go for a run through the Gloomwald, I'll kill Kuba, and then that might be the end of this episode. Like I mentioned though, give me a yell in the comments if you actually want to see more of this kind of content. I'm definitely happy to do it. I do enjoy the Blademaster, actually. I'm having a pretty fun time with it. What do we pick up there? So we've got the Spark of Reality, Aether to Chaos stuff for Arcanist. We got Warborn Gavel. Okay, and a whole bunch of other stuff I'm not really interested in. Yeah, let's go for a run through the Gloomwald, and then I'll hunt down Kuba. Do I have any other nemesis? That's another thing you can do as well. If you have multiple nemesis, just go spawn them. Because all the stuff you're killing in order to spawn them is potentially loot. And then if for example I get to Nemesis with the Chthonians before I get to Revered with Barahome, then I'm getting reputation from killing them as well. I don't know if you can actually do that, now that I've said it. No treasure trove, no totem, alright, let's move on. These things do count as beasts though, so I should probably kill them. Just leave the vicious growths. These guys, the Wendigos, unfortunately, are undead. This one's an undead beast. How about that? 2 factions. Alright, Light's Oath. Actually a pretty good ring. The Fire Polarized Dagalon build, I'm using that ring. So that might be worth having a look at. What are the rolls on it? That's a low roll on the Piercing to Fire conversion, so I'll probably not be swapping that. Rifthound leg wraps, is that something I'm interested in? No, it is not. Alright, hold it, Ember Claw. You do sometimes, I mean obviously because it just happened, but you do sometimes get heroes in there. It's not super often in my experience, but it definitely does happen. Okay, no totem, no treasure trove. That means my totem is in the other basement. My treasure trove is on the other side here. Definitely killing all the healers before I worry about killing Avarice. Alright, nicely rooted in place there. Prismatic Diamond is fired off. So I could have potentially died there. Still can, I guess. What I should be doing, since the Prismatic Diamond has fired off, I should be going back to town and waiting for this to go away. However, Avril Lavigne there was literally the only thing in here that can kill me, so I'm not too worried about it. Stepping out here, though, Anaxius, 2 heroes isn't bad. Standing in the goop here is probably not a good way to go. Blademaster's Wendigo Glare, so we got +2 to Markovian, +2 to Whirling Death. Blitz stuff, yeah. I know some people like the Blitz build, and I mean obviously I can't deny that it is effective, but I just do not like it. Probably because most of my gameplay is leveling, and during leveling I just don't like it. Alright, where's my Kuba? Okay, I've got the treasure trove. Maybe we go for a run through the Ancient Grove. I'm not going to pop the skeleton key, but that was the wrong rift as well. I want the Coven. If I make it to the Ancient Grove, once I get in there and kill a couple of heroes, Kuba should spawn pretty quickly. And I want to kill him. So we'll just run over there. I'm going to go by the foot on the way, because more Ugden Blooms is never a bad thing. You robbed me. Absolutely robbed me. Got any heroes along here? This is a lot of beasts, actually. I'm going to kill this. Alright, that's fine. That was actually a lot of these guys. I was halfway expecting Kuba. He has definitely had his chance to spawn reduced at some point. Because it used to be that I would just glance at something sideways and he'd be there, ready to go. Oh, there he is. Hey, he spawned right on top of Mogdrogan. Alright, beat down the first form, then evade out of all the goop. Then we get these two. Probably evade out of the goop now. Still standing in some goop. I think I'm actually standing in more goop now. Alright, we got the main guy. Now to get his clones. And then to get out of there. Alright, blighted leg guards. The Kuba's pants are not really something that I'm interested in, but the treasure trove here. Eldritch Pact. Storm cage legs. Okay, so nothing too amazing. So there we go. I'm going to stop there, but as I said, if this sort of video where I actually go through the farming side, what I'm actually doing, is something that you're interested in, let me know. Just be aware that every time I make one of these farming type videos, this could have been another video for a different series as well. So, okay, maybe you want to see this sort of stuff, but you want to see the next character more. Just let me know what you want to see. G'day folks, I'm just going to edit this in at the end of the previous episode rather than creating an entire new episode for what's probably going to be about 5 minutes worth of waffling. When this character finished the campaign, it was around about somewhere between 24 and 25 hours since character creation. It's now what are we looking at here? 33 and a half-ish hours in, and I've collected a few things. I got the Belgothian Slicer to drop, which is pretty nice. I've also collected the entire Darkblaze set. I have 2 guns, and I'm missing the helmet, but I can transmute that into a helmet. So I have the entire Darkblaze set as well. And I have left a whole bunch of stuff on the floor as well. But just now, and also I've hit Nemesis with the Beasts, which I think I did in the campaign. Also the Chthonians, I'm very close on Ethereals. But just now, and the reason I didn't show this is because it was over here in the Chthonian portal between Barrowhome and Lone Watch, and I didn't have my headphones plugged in, and there's a whole bunch of sound setting reasons, but the reason I didn't show it is because I had to close the game to turn on sound and such. So I've dropped Belgothian's Mask as a blueprint. Now this takes 10 Wendigo Spirits for each piece. I already have one of the weapons, so I only need to craft 3 of these. And I've also crafted all the rest of the ingredients for it. So I'm going to go ahead and eat this. And I do have 30 Wendigo Spirits as well. Now, I didn't actually get 30 Wendigo Spirits to drop. I had, I think, 20, 18, 20, something like that, that actually dropped. But what you can do, if you're missing Wendigo Spirits, you can come over here to one of the... I mean, he's not really super well hidden, but the blacksmith here. And you can talk to him, go to the last tab here, and then under materials, you can actually transmute ethereal missives into Wendigo spirits, Wendigo spirits go into ethereal mutagens, and then ethereal mutagens can be turned into ethereal missives. So that's what I did. I think I want to say I did 10, but it may have been 12. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I've got all that stuff ready. Now, I've also sat down and come up with a rough draft on what I'm actually going to do for this build. I did set myself with the goal of using the Belgothian set. I now have all of the ingredients for that. The plan, quote unquote, that I've put together is a little low on slow resist and also on stun resist. Now, these are kind of okay at the moment. That will change once I throw on the Belgothian stuff. I've also picked up the blueprint for the Windshear Greaves. Ironically, the same belt, the same boots that my Archon used, that took me months to find for the Archon. It was one of the earlier blueprints that I got to drop for this guy. I think I showed this before, but I've also picked up the Dire Wolf Crest. This is not what I'm going to be using in the quote-unquote end game, but it's what I have for now. So I can craft 3 of these helmets. And Kalon here, I'm trying to get... Does this have slow... It's got freeze duration resist on it. Yeah, so different blacksmiths will give you different bonuses when you craft with them. And Kalon here has different... See, this one's got stun resist, and this one's got freeze, just under the bleed resistance. So I'll probably end up using this one, although 5% fizz res is kind of nice to have. This one's got freeze, it's got 5% on the fizz res. I may roll a few more of these, but these 3 are the ones that I'm going to use for now, and unfortunately I think I'm going to have to go with the stun duration. Now, what we can do to turn those helmets into the other parts of this set is we come over here to Darlet. I use Darlet just out of habit. You can use any of the inventors. Chuck her in there, and then set piece into another part of the same set. It's going to use Eldritch Essence. If you have Celestial Lotus here, it's the wrong one, and you will delete your Belgothian and end up with another set. So there's a weapon. Now I'm going to do this once and just look. And this one does have more attack speed, which is nice. But other than that, the rest of the numbers are kind of less. I'm looking at the flat damage. I'm looking at the attack speed. Then I'm worried about offensive ability. So this one's not as good. There's a chest. It's the first one I've got. So I'm going to roll with that for now. And then the last piece I need is actually the shoulders. Which one of these is better? Looking at stats, this has got more health. This has got more physical resistance and more flat and percentage piercing, so I'm going to keep that one. Weapon, we're going to compare this again. Seems to be straight up worse. There's my shoulders. So what I'm going to do is every time I get 10 more Wendigo spirits, I'm going to craft another helmet and just see if it's better. If it has stun or slow duration resistances on it, that's what I'm after. And then I'm looking at the flat physical, then I'm looking at the physical resistance, then I'm looking at the health, and then after that I probably don't really care. So this is the whole set together now, and I'm going to swap this in. This will allow me to get rid of Cadence. Also, I now look like Shredder from the Ninja Turtles. I did get a Tyrant's Dermot Terran Slicer to drop. I want Tyrants of Alacrity, or Tyrants of whatever the rare piercing / attack speed suffix is. Chances of getting a triple rare are incredibly low, but Tyrants of Alacrity should be fairly easy. I've got 2 Tyrants of Spines. They're the only Tyrants ones that have dropped so far. So I'm going to go with that. I've also unlocked the Hammerfall powder from the Mammoth Resistance. I'm pretty much done with every positive faction. In fact, I'm literally done with every faction. I have revered with everybody. So I have access to all of the augments except for the outcast ones, obviously. Which means I can fill resistance holes, which I'm probably going to have to do. We're actually capped at the moment. So maybe I'll have to change a few around, but that'll be fine. All right, so I want my helmet. I want my Titan plate. I don't really need that, but I'll take it. Let's go ahead and chuck these back on. There we go, and I'm going to leave the Reaver's Claw because I may actually end up using this. Now, I do really want a Tyrant's prefix here for the reduced target's damage. But I also like the Reaver's Claw because it's just way more damage. It's +1 to all soldier skills, an extra target on cadence, a bunch of flat damage on cadence, a bunch of weapon damage. It's really, really good. But for the moment, I'm going to just hang on to it. So I want Slail's Veracity on Belgothian Slicer, and I need another seal of Blades, I think it is. So we can just go back here, and we can go Seal of Blades. Is that the one I want? Yes, it is. Chuck that on there. There we go. So DPS went up by about something like 40%, and I'm pretty happy with that. So the other items I'm looking for, the Blade Twister Signet, the... Hang on, let me just bring up the plan, and then I can just talk about it. So this is a tentative plan for the moment. This will almost certainly change. I can't get the resistance overcaps I want with this many legendary items. But we're looking at the Mythical Will of the Blade for the amulet. We have the Blade Twister Signet and the Mythical Belgothian Sigil for rings. The Belgothian set, Tyrants of Alacrity on the weapon, Formidable Drieg or Soleil leg guards of Vitality. This may end up changing because resistances. I'm looking at Serenity for the metal. I like +1 to all skills. I may change this to one of the piercing type ones. I think it's Belgothian's something or other. For the belt, I want the Mythical Bladebreaker Sash. For the metal, I'm getting Markovian's Stratagem. This will increase the targets that Markovian's Advantage will hit, adds a whole bunch of damage to it, gets +6 skill points on various weapon pull skills, and has a bunch of flat damage to add as well, so that's really good. And then the Mythical Grasp of Unchained Might for gloves. I haven't seen those drop, and it's very, very surprising to me. However, it's been about 8, maybe 9 hours of farming, and this is where the character is up to. It's definitely not done. I absolutely still need to do more work, but this is getting very, very good. So I'm going to end this episode here, so I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.